Hey, okay, there we go. For some reason, I'm using this like new OBS. It's called Streamlabs, and it's like really weird. The one that I had up before, so for anybody, here is the new link. I was like using. Usually, I have to have ultra low latency off so that I can see your guys. I can see your guys' comments very quickly. And what ended up, second time's a charm. That's what Plaguescape said. I agree with you. So what ends up happening is when I don't have low latency on, I literally can't see your guys' comments till like 5 minutes after showing up. And I was wondering why like you guys were commenting, but it didn't say that you guys were on the stream. It was really, really weird. But here we go. How'd you guys do today? Have a good day, bad day? I had some pretty good trades today. Had a good trade on Boeing. That was a good one. I had some Zynga that I'm up a little bit on right this second. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Hey, there we go. Need some better lighting. It's not as crazy right now. Let's make my face a little smaller so you guys can see the screen. All right. There we go. Try to become a streaming professional for you guys. It's a lot of work. I'm trying to learn. All right. The point of the stream is to go over NVIDIA earnings and also to kind of do a Q&A. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have questions on any plays, anything you want me to look at, any questions you might just have on trading in general, in the stock market in general, where you think things are going to go, certain trades that you have, maybe you think you want to get out. For anybody who is new, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, really helps. And let's get this started. So, we were talking before earnings, for a lot of people about NVIDIA, and also going into this, I am a master. I sound like Bane. You know why, dude? You know why, Sebastian? Maybe it's because it's my nighttime voice. You know, when I first wake up, I'm always like, hey guys, my voice is so messed up, so maybe I just need to start streaming at night, but that doesn't help with the stock market. So we were talking earlier about how we had this big resistance here that we finally broke through on Nvidia, and this is why I would not play calls. I would not play puts. I really was not playing this at all. Comment if you guys are playing this, if you guys did decide to take a position on this or not. I didn't. And we're going to kind of go over what's going on right now. We had this big peak that was happening here. If you're an academy student, you know that one of the main things that we play is actually going to be ascending wedges and divergences. So this was not an ascending wedge, but we did have price action that was moving up higher, higher, higher. We did have this bearish divergence. So for those of you who do not know what a bearish divergence is, essentially it's just when price action is going up, but we have the RSI going down. So the RSI is your relative strength index. It's basically just showing you the strength of the trend in which the stock is going. So obviously the trend of the stock strength was going down, the stock was going up, and sometimes we get some indiscrepancies like that, and that's exactly what happened here. So we are holding up on support, and then we broke through. We're going to go into the actual earnings numbers right now, but it looks like we're going to take probably another 3 or 4% fade down probably to 332. Let's check out the 1 minute. Did numbers come out yet? I guess they did. Now, for those of you, I kind of spoke on this, who are like more tech savvy than I am, because I'm not tech savvy at all. You guys need to correct me. You need to let me know exactly what NVIDIA, like I understand they're a chip maker, but I know like different chips are made for different things. Like I think NVIDIA, I know some like are good for crypto mining. I don't know about NVIDIA. I know some are more for gaming. Some are more just, I think Intel is more just like general computers. Skyworks is for, iPhones and just phones in general. So let me know if I'm speaking out of terms or something. Also, how is the quality of the stream? If you guys could let me know. For some reason, I keep getting this thing that comes up. It looks fine on OBS, but on YouTube, it keeps saying the stream's bitrate is 2,725 kilobytes higher than the recommended bitrate. I don't even know what the hell that means. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I'm trying. I'm watching a ton of Alpha Gamer videos. Dude is sick. Guy's a really, really good YouTuber. GPUs is for gaming, and they use them for crypto. They're two top non-ASICs for mining. I don't know what that is. It's skipping. First, sounds like you have a bit of echo or a skip. Yeah, it also says I only have 4 people on the stream right now, but I think there's more than that. Let me see if I can fix this. Audio input. Add source. Add source. Yeti microphone. Is that better? Is that better for you guys? Hopefully. We'll see how that is. Hopefully that's better. Shows 11. Okay, well, whatever. The stream will go on. Hopefully my voice sounds a little bit better there. I'm gonna learn more about the software and we'll figure it out from there. Rate frequency is a little off. I don't know what that is, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so Nvidia's Q1 revenue is 3.8 billion, and now you echo. Oh damn. Okay, how is that? Is that better? I took my headset off that I use to hear my playback, so it's a little weird doing this, but hopefully that's a little better for you guys. Let me know. Vivek says, looks like you have 2 microphones. You have one on your headset and your regular mic. Yeah, I had 4 inputs somehow on this new OBS, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully that worked. If it does, let me know. Way better now. Okay, awesome. That makes me a lot happier. Let's do a video capture, add source. Boom, now you guys got my pretty face back. All right, much better. All right, there we go. Let me put my gauges in so my weird ears don't freak you guys out. All right, I feel a lot better. YouTube is still being weird, saying I have 2 people on here, which obviously there's more than that. But let's get going. So if you guys have any stocks that you want to call out, if you guys have anything that you want me to check out, if you're in something and you don't know what to do, let me know. Plague Safe says, look people, we are doing it live. I feel you. Being live is a lot different than making a YouTube video. I like it better almost. So we'll see. THKTV, what's up, brother? What do I think about Foot Locker coming up? We'll go back to Nvidia for a second, but we do have a question. What do I think about Foot Locker? I really wanted to invest in Foot Locker back when they were, they are all the way back up at $30 a share. THKTV, I hope you got in. I was looking to get in at like 17, 18 bucks a share, and I decided that I was like, I'm kind of going to sit out a bit. So I don't know. I mean, at this price, I would ask THKTV, are you looking at this as a trade, or are you looking at this more as like a long-term investment? Because that would have a lot to do with what I would do from this point forward with Foot Locker. But if you're looking for a trade, this is probably not the best time to go into it. Personally, if you're looking to get in long, it's not a bad price, but I'm kind of hoping they fade on earnings. And if we could get back, man, I can't believe this ripped this hard. It's a great company. I like them long term. I don't like retail at all, but I really like them at $17 a share. I personally think that at $30, you're overpaying. Because what we say in the academy is like, you're either going to have what you're looking for is either not a fair company, but a good company at a really, really good price, which for me, Foot Locker is a really good company at a not so fair price right now. But $17, $18, $19, $20, $25 was a fair price for me. But to me, they're also not like an amazing company that I'll pay a not so fair price on. So personally, I would not touch this. Hopefully, unless it's a trade, but I would say wait and see what happens after earnings, see how the numbers are. To me, it's not the best price right now to be getting in. I was wondering about trend lines and how you know where to draw them. All right, awesome. We can go over that. Let's do Nvidia, and then we can go over trend lines and how to draw your trend lines and everything. Trend lining is like an art form. So we can go over that. Everybody draws them different. So we had kind of a nice bounce here. Let's see. Do they have like a good CNBC article? NVDA earnings. Damn, market's been closed for 43 minutes already. All right, here we go. Let me add this. That is not what I wanted to do, guys. Trying to get this article up so you guys can see it. Let's see. Google Chrome earnings. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see this? Why is this just a black screen? Okay. Well, we're not going to have this. I'm just going to have to read it off to you guys. All right, so Nvidia reports. Actually, I can put, if you guys want to read it, I will drop the link in the chat box right now so you guys can see it. There we go. Nvidia reports revenue up 39% from last year. The stock is up over 50% for the year, not including Thursday after hours moves. The company's data center reported over $1 billion in revenue for the first time ever. That's really good. EPS was $1.80 adjusted. Revenue was $3.8 billion. So that's really, really nice. Wall Street anticipated earnings of $1.69 per share. So that's really good. They beat that. And revenue of $3 billion. They beat that. However, it's difficult to compare reported earnings to analyst estimates as the coronavirus pandemic continues to affect the global economics and makes earnings impact difficult to assess. CFO said, actually, I can't say that word, so we'll say Rona. Rona created challenges in supply and demand. Early in this quarter, our partners' supply chains were disrupted. Shelter in place resulted in closures of retail outlets and China iCafes, affecting sales in our gaming products. And the company said in a letter from CFO, however, working from home, learning at home, and gaming drove surge in e-tail demand. I don't know what e-tail is. Maybe you guys can help me with that. Last year, during first fiscal quarter, Nvidia reported earnings per share of 88 cents on revenue of $2.22 billion. Nvidia expects to report about a $3.5 billion in revenue in its second fiscal quarter, with gross margins around 58%. So that's good that they actually gave earnings for like guidance for next quarter. Not a lot of companies have been doing that. Nvidia is best known for making graphics processor units. Its gaming segment was up 25% year over year to $1.9 billion, the company said. The fastest growing segment is related to its chips for data centers, which are I don't even know how to read that. Oh, yeah, it might be online retail playscape. Computationally? I don't even know what that means. Intensive tasks, so I guess that means they require a lot of computers, such as machine learning. Nvidia said that the segment grew 70% year over year, topping $1 billion for the first time. All right, let's see how it's moving. So overall, good earnings numbers for Nvidia. Now, the thing is that when you have a company that's at all-time highs, you end up, and earnings come out, you might not have the greatest move up, right? We are kind of holding here. But I get a lot of questions like, hey, Nvidia is down right now. Why is it down if they just had amazing earnings? Well, they're at all-time highs. I made a video a couple days ago. If you guys are subscribed, you definitely have seen it probably. If not, you should go see it. It's called Why a Stock Market Bubble Happens. And long story short, a bubble happens because people don't understand what the true value of a stock is worth, and people just buy it. And so every quarter we get what is called earnings. And earnings are not only important to see how the company is doing, are they making more money, are they losing money, but what's really important about earnings is to see what the company is valued at. Basically, think if every 3 months you had an appraiser come out to your house and appraise your house, right? You would know what your house is worth every 3 or 4 months. Sometimes it would go up, sometimes it'd be down. Maybe a whole bunch of houses sold for more money in the area, and now your house is worth an extra $100,000. Like, that's what earnings are for. So investors can look at the stock and say, hey, this is really undervalued asset, or this is a very overvalued asset. And I think that with Nvidia being up at all-time highs, we're probably going to see a sell-off. Now, the big thing is going to come down to how is their earnings call going to be? How are they dealing with the Rona situation? And if this were to occur, I know like a lot of people aren't going to start going back to work till like July or August. So all of that is going to take a really big impact into what happens with the actual stock and where we end up seeing this go. So if I'm a long-term investor, I would not be getting an Nvidia right now. It is so overpriced. I wouldn't say overpriced, really. It's just not a good deal. And I'm here to find deals. That is my goal. Not only am I a trader and full-time trader, but I am also a long-term investor. And I'm more of an active long-term investor. I like to find stocks that are good companies that are undervalued. And that's my investing style. And looking at Nvidia, I don't think that this is a good company that's undervalued. I think it's a good company that is overvalued or appropriately valued. But, if we take a fade here, next support is going to be 330. Then after that, it's going to be 312. And then after that is going to be 300 and then 289. Are any of you guys in Nvidia right now? Long-term, short-term, any term, puts, calls, straddles? Damn, Wynn Resorts was down 4.5% today. Snap was down 4% too. All right, so someone said on TD/Thinkorswim, how do I change the default quantity? I don't think you can change the default quantity. You just have to go to advanced, and then you have to hit buy, and then you have to change it yourself. ELF earnings going up. Hold on to your Becky portfolio. You guys know I love ELF. Is it really going up? I really wanted it to die. Damn, Jesus. I really should have gotten into this down at like $7.58. But I slept on it, guys. Love this company long term. Geez, that sucks. Let's see. Sebastian says currently just in AMD puts. It's looking nice. We could not break 59 last time. Depending on what time you got in, it was a really good price. We're holding on the 50-day SMA. So look for these two supports. And if we break the 100, you're in the money. Down to 200, the 200-day SMA, which is like $52.15. How many people does it say is in the stream for you guys? I'm just wondering. Because none of my stuff has updated. Like right now it's saying there's 2 viewers and it says there's 0 likes. So I don't know if YouTube is just broken. I'd really like to move away from streaming on YouTube. We'll see how it goes. 15. Oh, what's up, guys? If you haven't been here before, welcome. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We go live like this publicly a couple times a week. We go live every single morning in our private community. If you want information on that, there's over 55 hours of courses. We have 210 as of today, students, which is just awesome. It's $30 a month. It's one of the best communities that I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, we did build it together, but it's amazing. Follow Rogan to Spotify. Will Spotify give you $100 million? Yo, seriously though, it's pretty nuts. If you look at greatness, will Spotify give you $100 million? I hope. But dude, I mean, look at this, right? I don't know if you guys noticed. So they pick. What's up, Pete? I like this. YouTube needs to catch up. I feel you. Pete's the man. I'll thank you guys. That's amazing. I'm really so happy that we have this awesome community. I can't wait till we continue to grow. And it's just dope. It's just I'm really so happy with like what I'm doing every single day. It's one of the best things ever. And it's all because of this quarantine. I'm actually going to make a video probably tomorrow or Saturday on the things that I've learned in the past 60 days of quarantine. So we're going to see. But it's actually crazy. So Greatness81 said, will Spotify give me $100 million? That sounds like a lot of money. Two things though. If you haven't, there's a video by Valuetainment where Patrick Bet-David goes over I put my video out first. He kind of goes over some of the stuff that I talked about, but he brings up two good important points. Spotify paid Joe Rogan $100 million over 3 or 4 years. Right? It's a lot of money. So a lot of people might say, hey, that's stupid. But do you know how much the company, right? It's up 30% since that news. It's up 30%. That is a market cap of $6.5 billion more. So Spotify, the company, in the past week for doing a $100 million deal has gone up $6.5 billion. That's nuts. They spent $100 million and they're up $6.5 billion. That, I mean, yeah, it's probably going to fade a bit, but that is an insane investment. And what's even crazier too is that taxes, right? Joe Rogan's been talking about moving to Texas. If you make over $1 million a year in California in state taxes alone, state taxes, not even federal income, state taxes alone is 13%. So if he moves to Texas, if he moves to, I think, Nevada, if he moves to Florida, he would save $13 million on that deal alone, which means he could basically get a free mansion just for moving out of the state of California. Greatness. Tesla needs to leave California too. I completely agree with you. I need to move to Texas. I don't want to give away money. I don't even have a ton of money, but if I was making $1 million a year doing this, I'm not trying to give 13% of my money away in state taxes alone. It's nuts. Yeah, amazing investment for them though, honestly. Like that's a really, really good investment on their point. And a lot of people, and what's even crazier too is that from Joe Rogan's standpoint, like it really raises the bar for what podcasters are worth. Because like I said in my video, like it's not like Joe Rogan's going to be the only podcast on there. They will probably bring Impulsive, which is Logan Paul's. They'll probably bring all these other huge podcasters over to Spotify. So it's huge for them. All right, let's go over support and resistance. If you guys have any questions on any stocks, if you guys have any questions on support and resistance, different patterns, anything, let me know. But let's go over that right now. So let's look at, this is like my easiest one that I do, but it's the easiest to take a look at. Let me clear my drawing set. Boeing. So let's start with what is a support and what is a resistance. I will ask you guys that first. We'll kind of do like a live, we'll kind of do like a live lecture, and I want you guys to participate in it so I can kind of get an understanding of where everybody is. What is a support and what is a resistance? And then after that, answer why are support and resistances created? What do you think about Dollar General? I love Dollar General and Dollar Tree. I think they're amazing recession-proof communities. We've been watching DLTR for the longest time squeeze here. Looked like it was going to break below and take a big drop down, but it hasn't. They do have earnings coming up. Long term, I really like them. Short term looks like it's going to get rejected. And then Dollar General, this is at a really, really high right now. I would not be buying this long term at this point. Also, guys, if I ask a question, please, and you don't know the answer, or you think you know the answer, but it might be the wrong answer, please still type it. There is nothing wrong with not knowing something. There is something wrong with not knowing and being afraid to talk about it, right? Everybody starts at ground one. Everybody doesn't know what they're doing sometimes. You have to learn together. What was that last part? We're just asking what a support and resistance was, and I was asking why does a support and a resistance form. So Moshag39, which is Mo Money from the Capitalist Academy. I'm here to learn. I'm a sponge right now. Hell yes, greatness. That's the best way to be. You gotta be. I'm actually making a video on this, but learning how to learn. Once you get addicted to learning, and once you learn how to learn, there's no way you will not become successful. Everything I'm doing right now, I didn't know how to do 3 weeks ago. I didn't understand lighting. I didn't understand cameras. I didn't understand streaming. I didn't understand using software. I didn't understand any of this. Let's see. Okay, so Moshak says support is a level that a price may not fall below, all right, for a period of time. Resistance is where a price of a stock meets pressure. Okay. So we'll start with this. Why does support and resistances happen, right? I think that a lot of people look at support and resistance and they say, oh, well, it happens because there's a certain price where it just can't get above, right? So let's take a look. If you right click on TOS, you go to add drawings, you go to this line. This here is going to be your price level line. So for what Joe is asking is, how do we find support and resistance? Well, let's just zoom out and let's see at what points did a stock touch and hold, but was not able to actually get past, right? So let's see. Let's take a look. Well, hold on. Let me get rid of this real quick. Well, look. Okay, so back here, Boeing touched 379, and then it got rejected. It touched 379 again. Got rejected. Touched it again. Got rejected. Okay, we're seeing something here. Touched it again, but broke above it and then came back. All right. Touched it again, touched it again. So let me just attach a line. Let's see how this looks. That is, hold on, let me remove this. Boom. Okay. So that is a pretty strong resistance right there. Now let's find some spots of support. So let's see, we have one here. Okay, then we have one here. All right, well, let's keep zooming over. Let's see, so we have a support here at 319. We have a support here at 320. A bit of a support here at 322. A break, and then a comeback. So let's right click, go to drawing, and let's attach these supports together here. All right, now you have to realize with support and resistance, it's not always going to be perfect. It's not like it will touch, 320 perfectly and then bounce every time. Like, that doesn't happen. Sometimes it didn't touch and it bounced. Sometimes it touches and it bounces. Sometimes it barely touches and it bounces. Sometimes it'll touch perfectly. Like, support and resistance does not have to be perfect. Sometimes it'll go under a support, or sometimes it'll go over resistance. It's not always perfect, right? Now, I asked the question, why? Why does a support and a resistance happen? Oh, we have some on Discord. Support is the low-level price where a price usually hits. Resistance is the high. So why does Nvidia beat expectations by 7%? Ooh, holding. Okay, so why does support and resistance happen? A lot of people think when they're starting out, including myself, like there's some technical barrier. Like every time it hits $380, there's some barrier that it's just unable to break through, right? That's not the case. If you look at any indicator, a moving average, an SMA, an EMA, if you look at a MACD, an RSI, a TTM squeeze, all of this, for lack of a better word, I can't curse on here, but a lack of a better word is it's just bullcrap. Greatness 81. Can I do this on Robinhood? No, you can't. But you can download this software. It's called Think or Swim by TD Ameritrade. I have a whole bunch of videos on YouTube explaining how to use it. It's 100% free. It's amazing software. It's 100% free. You need a computer to do it. You can do it on a phone, but it kind of sucks. I did do a whole tutorial on using that on YouTube. If you are part of our private community, we have a full step-by-step walkthrough on how to actually use it, like a full 1.5 hour long course, as well as a bunch of other courses. But it's amazing. I tried to just trade off a Robinhood when I started like 6 years ago, and it's near impossible. You have to have some sort of understanding from like reading a chart and technically seeing where things are. Now, support and resistance are not some price where like every time Boeing hits it, it has to reject. It's all psychology. Indicators are there, and they're all bullcrap. No, you're good. Don't worry. Indicators are really just make-believe. Support and resistance is there because people think it's there. Does that make sense? If you were to not look at a chart, and if you were not look at traders, and if you were Boeing, right? It's not like every single time a company, the stock goes up, the company changes. No, the company doesn't change, right? There's nothing that changes from a company when it goes up or down, right? The support and resistance is by traders. They're like us. We find that support, and it's a universal language that we have where we end up looking at support and resistances and we say, hey, that's a support and resistance. It's like I talk about it all the time, but say like you were cooking, and every single morning you cooked and you went to grab your phone next to you and you grabbed the burner instead and you burnt the living crap out of your hand. Every time you would go to grab your phone, wouldn't you be like, hang on, like, is it near the burner? Is the burner turned on? Let me check it. Because you've been burnt before. And now imagine a room of people who did that. Well, that's what support and resistance are. It's literally just there because people think it's there, if that makes sense. All these candlesticks are not like technical things that are happening with a company. They're just the psychology of traders. And so, if you can see, every single time Boeing gets up to $380, people take a step back and they're like, hang on, it's a little overpriced. You know, we've been rejected multiple times here. It's probably not the best time to start a position or add to a position or have a hedge fund start to buy. Maybe we should take some time away. Then every time it gets down to $320, people go, okay, hang on, this is a good price. I'll start a small position, start to see volume come in, starts to bounce. Okay, I'll start adding more. I'll add more. And so support and resistance is just made up, but it's real because people believe it's real. Now, as far as drawing your trend lines, there's tons of different patterns. The main patterns that we play in our academy are wedges and are really like flags. Wedges and flags are the main ones. But let's look, what's a good one? Let's look at Snapchat. This is one that we played last week. Now, let's pretend that this is not here. Let's pretend that from here is not there. All we have is this squeeze. Now, this is called a rising wedge. We talk about this a lot. This is one of my main strategies. You could become a millionaire if you wanted and you had the right risk management trading just this pattern. And I don't say that like a Tim Sykes, like you need to, you can become a millionaire off of $1,000 bet. Like, no, that's not it, right? If you trade these patterns consistently and you have discipline, it's pretty easy. Ryan McGlynn What's up, brother? Are you new? If you are new, welcome. What is the average size position you would advise to take, just out of interest? One question, you don't have to answer it. What is your portfolio? What's your portfolio worth? That's the main thing. And are you trading options or are you trading shares? So for me, I have two portfolios. I have a Robinhood one, which I don't like using, but I use it to teach in my private academy because a lot of people like Robinhood. And I have a TD Ameritrade. Both of them never have more than $30,000 in them at a time. I don't think you ever need more than 30 grand if you're trading, right? If you're long-term investing, that's different. But if you're trading, you don't need more than $30,000. Everybody gets hung up thinking like, the more money I have, the more I'll trade. And the truth is no. I never take a position on either account for more than 10 grand. So for me, Ryan and Greatness, you have 8,900. That's awesome. That's a great way to start. Or maybe you've been doing this a while. That's awesome. And it really depends on your experience level and how good you are at cutting losses. It's the most important thing, guys. We are going to lose. We're traders. I lost the biggest loss I've had since I opened my academy yesterday. I lost $2,700. It happens. I would say, so for me with 30 grand, I buy in multiple positions. So for options, I usually don't go over $1,500 to $2,000 per option play. I also never trade weeklies. And for shares, I usually go in no more than 10 grand at a time. But, and I go over this a lot more in the courses, is like, you want to scale into any position. So say I'm going into an option, I'll start out, like I'll give this away. Zynga. So I took puts on Zynga today. When I took puts, we had broken through this resistance. This is a perfect situation building. We have a rising wedge. We were broke above. I decided, all right, I'll test it. I only went in with $500 worth of puts. My thought was, I'm in small. If it keeps breaking out, I'll cut my loss. But if it kept breaking out, then I would average my way in. So in short, Ryan, I would say on shares, no more than 30-40% of your portfolio. In options, no more than 10% of your portfolio at a time. And that depends on how good you are at trading options, how long you've been trading. But I'm a very, very conservative trader. I've been doing this for 6 years full time. There's a reason why I'm still here. There's a reason why I'm consistently making money. There's a reason why I run an academy. And it's not because I take risky, crazy, oversized trades. It's because I know how to cut losses. I know technical analysis, and I'm disciplined in my approach. And I don't take huge positions. This is a long-term skill you're going to have for the rest of your life. You don't need to make millions of dollars right now. So Joe says, now what happens when it breaks for a high or a low? How will you know when the support or resistance is no longer correct? That's a good question. So here's the thing. Let's go back to Boeing real quick, like we were talking. It's dependent upon your trade and what you're willing to lose and a break of pattern. So let's say here you were looking at this because you saw this bounce 1 time, 2 times, now 3 times. I would have cut my losses here. Even though it ended up bouncing, even though it went back up to highs, I would have cut my losses. What you're going to want to look for, Joe, or anybody, when you're looking at support and resistance, is you're going to want to see where the candle closes. Right, on a 4-hour or a daily. It doesn't matter if the candle breaks out over resistance or below resistance. There's like a helicopter flying over my house right now. I don't know why. But what you want to see is where it closes, because that's what's important. If you take a look at Zynga, it went above yesterday and then closed below resistance. Today it went above and closed below resistance. That's what I'm looking for. If we would have closed, yeah, they are coming for me. If it would have closed above the resistance, then I would have said, okay, let's chill out. But that's why, like, kind of going back to what Ryan was asking about my average size position, what I tell my students is you need to be trading with money, a size that you don't care about. When I trade with $5,000 worth of shares to $7,000 worth of shares, I don't care, right? I don't want to sound arrogant, but like, I don't look at my phone that much. I don't constantly watch the charts all day because I'm a busy person. I'm constantly making YouTube videos. I'm constantly working with my community. I'm still finding trades. I'm still taking trades. Sometimes I day trade. Like, I'm constantly doing stuff. So if you're trading with so much money that you have to watch your trades, especially swing trades, if you are trading with so much money that every time you look at your phone and you're up and you're like, oh, should I sell? Should I sell? Like you're trading with too much money. Take a step back and just chill. And yesterday when I took that $7,000 loss, like I was telling Ryan and all you guys, usually I trade with $2,000-$3,000 in options. I had a $10,000 option put on Twilio. I was checking my phone every 5 minutes. I was watching every single candle whenever I could. I couldn't really do anything with my day because I was so focused on that trade. That's how you know you're trading with way too much money. And what happens is when you're trading with too much money, you're not going to think rationally. You're going to be irrational and you're going to get way too attached to a trade. So Joe, you want to make sure that it's holding under, and if it closes above a resistance or below a support, and then the next day it keeps going in that direction, that's usually when I cut my loss. And then other times where we look at something like Nvidia, I would never try to get a put on something like this right now. Like, obviously here, because once we break through a resistance and we just keep going and going and going, we don't know where the next sign of resistance is. So you don't want to just keep getting puts, right? That's not good. The same way with, like, if you look at CCL, right? If we were to zoom in here before the whole Rona situation, this was a pretty strong support. All right, so you see how we gapped down and then we broke and we broke and we broke? See how we were holding here? Now this is different because fundamentally this company died. You see how we held here? For some people, that's a good time to get in for calls, or that's a good time to hold shares, right? But no, like, we don't know how far this is going to go. So that's why you can't just be like, oh, it's oversold, I'm going to buy calls. Moshag. That's real, Pete. I have a friend who may need therapy services to recover one of his recent options losses. I got you. But it's a part. Like, none of you guys or girls, because we have girls in the academy, none of you should ever get upset about losing money, right? One of the biggest problems with traders is we want things now. And for a lot of you guys who started trading, it's probably because you either really don't like what you're doing with your job. You either are really hungry to live a life. Like for me, I started trading because like I hated what I was going to do in the normal world. I wanted to take care of my family. I wanted to take care of my sick parents when they got older. I wanted to be able to take my friends on vacations and do whatever I wanted. It's like, it's usually the people who trade start because we're dreamers and start because we want more for our lives and our families' lives, or we want an occupation that gives us freedom. The problem is that we want it now, right? I want everything right now. You have to be calculated. You have to realize this is a long-term endeavor that you're getting into. You just have to be patient, right? Patience is the strongest, aspect of anything. The patient people are the ones who win. And so it sucks because this is a crummy industry where you get targeted by people like, join this community, take my penny stock basics course and you'll make over 1,000% in the next month. Like, and it's really easy because we are the people who want more for our lives. And then we get, told we can do it quicker and we're like, hell yeah. So you're going to lose money. Like, it's a part of it, right? That's like, you're going to lose. I've lost a lot of money before I stayed consistent. Like, I lost 26 grand in a month. I lost $10,000 in a day a couple years ago. But those were the ones that made me realize, like, holy crap, this is what I did wrong, and just sticking with it. So you have to realize this is a long, long game. William Lindsay, what's up, William? Thoughts on big news with AZN, U.S. to invest $1.3 billion and secures 300 million doses. I don't know what that is. Maybe you guys can help me. AZN. Ooh. AstraZeneca. Oh, wow. I didn't even know they were a company. I thought AstraZeneca was like a medication. It's really sick. That's good for them. Got a big trend line coming here that we are at. I wouldn't take a position on this right now. One big thing we talk about a lot on this channel and in the community is your risk versus your reward. And in this situation, the risk is not worth the reward. If you were going to play long on this, it's so overplayed and so overbought that you have so much more risk to the downside than you have to opportunity to the upside. If you're going to take puts on this, to me, the risk versus reward is not there, because the chances of this just keep going up and up and up, or just being held here and you losing your money, is not worth it. Greatness 81. When to buy a put of a stock if it's going up? If. So I think you're trying to say, when should you buy a put on a stock that's going up? Here's the thing. In our community, in one of my courses I made called Trading for a Living, I make this little, it's called like a strike zone, but basically your trading plan. And the one thing I would say, if you have not been in the market a long time, I would highly advise against trying to trade reversals or trying to trade breakouts. So if you take a look at the one I lost on, Twilio, right? We have a lot of support, a lot of resistance up here at like 149. We have resistance here and here at 133. We broke out to all-time highs. And this just keeps going up and up and up and up. And every single time you could look at your indicators and you could say, it's overbought, it's overbought, it's overbought. And here we even had a perfect situation where we had price action going up. We had this bearish divergence. So like we talked about earlier with something like Snap, where you have price going up, RSI going down. You get that indiscrepancy, a lot of pressure builds. We have pressure building on the TTM. And then I swore it was going to squeeze down. It didn't. Stuff happens. But what I would say, greatness, is that if you're going to get a put on something that's breaking out, first of all, think to yourself, are you cool with losing all of that money? Because that could happen, right? So first of all, are you playing with small enough money to where if you lost all of it, you don't care? If the question's no, don't take it. If the question's yes, if the question's yes, then all right, now we're going to move to the next stage. The next stage is, if you're going to get a put, add 2 weeks minimum to as long as you think the move's going to take. So for with Twilio, this is where I messed up. I took 13 days out, and I should have went 21. So I bought in like Monday, Tuesday, and so I should have actually went 3 weeks out. So add 2 weeks further than you think the play is going to take. This will give you time, basically room for error. You're not going to make as much money if it just dies tomorrow, but it's going to give you more room for error, which is very, very important. The next thing is going to be scaling in. And scaling in is important when you're taking something against trend. So say you say to yourself, greatness, okay, you have $8,900 in your portfolio. You are okay with losing $300 on this play. You're cool with losing $300. What you would do is split that $300 into 3 buy-ins. So say back here on last Tuesday, let's say you started getting this move up. Let's say that 2 days after this, last Friday, you bought one put for $100. Okay, well, if it dumps, good. You make a small amount of money. It sucks. You could say to yourself, oh, I should have put $300 in, but you don't want to do that. So say it keeps going up. You buy in your second buy-in. So you had a $100 put. Now you're going to buy the same put. It's called averaging down. So now you have $200 in puts. Then if it goes up again, you buy your third put. So now you have your full position split over 3 buy-ins. So you're really not down a lot. And then if this stock keeps going against you and keeps going up and up and up, you walk away and you cut your losses, you lick your wounds, and you move on. If not, hopefully it takes a fade. So the biggest thing would be willing to trade whatever you're ready to lose entirely. The second thing would be scale your positions into threes. And the third thing would be go a couple weeks out. It's one of the most important things. Joe says, second and third options to decide my fate. I don't know what you mean. I hope that's not deciding your fate. Don't ever take a trade to decide your fate. I did that. I lost 10 grand. Put a ton of money into TVIX, and I said, if TVX goes up, I'm a trader. If TVIX goes down, I'm not a trader forever. Went down, still trading. So that wasn't right, but I did lose a lot of money. William Lindsay. What's up, William? Okay. It's a good question. Then I'm going to go over Glenn's, where he said, what do you think about AMD? And then we'll get to Enoch. Enoch? That's a cool name. All right. William says, my Facebook 529 calls are at 1,000%. I was thinking about holding until after Memorial Day. I don't see it slowing down with Shopify news. What do you think? Question for you, William. When's your expiration date? That's the first thing. Oh, 529. I'm so stupid. Never mind. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this. So there's a couple things going on, right? Fundamentally, there's a reason for Facebook to be going up. We talked about before how when you break through all-time highs and you break through this major resistance that we have here, that we don't know how high it can go, right? But this is one of the most important things. You know how I was talking to greatness and I said you need to scale into a position? What I would recommend to you, William, is to take your profits and just be happy. 1,000% is insane. Hold it and risk it, which I do not advise for, especially because after tomorrow, it's going to become a weekly, and a weekly, the theta is going to be so bad. You have to realize theta is like poison. The closer that you get to the date, the more poison is getting sucked out of your wallet. What I would recommend doing is scaling out of your position. So kind of like how we talked about scaling into a position, you can do that with scaling out. And you're supposed to do that, and it's best to do that with options. So what I did, I'll show you specifically with Snapchat. So with Snapchat, we had this squeeze/wedge that was happening here. I got puts. I got 15 puts. It was a small position because remember, we scale into options plays. I bought it here and I had planned on this breaking up and keep going up so I could scale into the position, but it didn't. And it broke down. I made 100% on this move. So my thoughts were this. It's holding on the 100-day SMA. If it breaks the 100-day SMA, it could take a big fall down to the 200. That's the real play. But here's the thing. Holding my entire position would not have been a smart play. If Snap would have broke that support, I would have made a crap ton of money. But look what happened. It didn't. It bounced. And if I would have held that full position, probably would have lost all my profits. So instead, what I did was I had, let's just say, I don't know the exact price. Let's say I had 15 contracts that were worth $1,000, right? I bought them for $500. So I'm up 100%. So what I did was I sold my original investment. My original investment was $500. I sold $500 worth of options, and I let the other $500 just ride it out. It's kind of like going to the blackjack table, putting $1,000 down, and having $2,000, right? Are you going to sit at the blackjack table and just be like, I'm just going to try to make $4,000 or I'm going to lose $2,000? No, the smart thing to do would be take your $1,000, that you came here with. Put the $1,000 in your pocket and keep playing with the $1,000 on the table. So what I would say to you, William, is sell at minimum the amount of money you put into the trade. So this way, if you lose everything, you lose all of it, it's profit. You didn't lose your capital. What I would do minimally is probably sell half. So you can lock in some sort of profit. And then if Facebook keeps going up, you didn't make as much money as you should have, but you didn't risk as much money. This entire game is about risk and being calculated. So that's what I would say. Because right now, I don't know what's going to happen to Facebook. Like, I can tell you that. I could be like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, we're in uncharted territory right now. This has never been here, so I don't know where this is going to go. I personally would say it's probably going to fall back down to 222.91 tomorrow, personally. But I don't know. This is uncharted territory. Can you, when do you buy a call and when do you buy a put? That's going to be dependent upon your technical analysis. For like a more in-depth breakdown, I have a whole bunch of videos on it. And if you're a part of our private stock market community and our private stock market mentorship, you get the courses included, and that will help to teach you that. But can you buy a call below the stock price? Yep, that's called in the money. So this is your options chain. I have a whole bunch of videos on options chain. If you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really helps. We have a ton of videos on here now that will really help you. We also have a private stock market mentorship program that I will put in the chat for you guys as well. Why am I unable to do that? Let me see if I can actually put that in there for you guys. I can probably drop it in the chat. Give me 1 second. Can I like view my own video as it's live? Is that possible? Hey, I can. That's dope. Oh, let me turn that down. All right, cool. There we go. All right, cool. I dropped it. Yeah, or Aaron, you can post a link too. But the link is dropped there. Okay, cool. So let's go over it. So yes, you can buy what's called in the money. So Facebook is $231.39 right now. So you could look at some of these calls, right? This call is a strike price for $232.50. That is called out of the money because the price of the stock is $231, but the call is a strike price for $235. So that is called out of the money. Inside of the money is if you were to buy a call expiring at the price that it already is now or a price below it. So for instance, if you were to buy this call, this is $220. Give me 1 second, guys. Hang on. Okay, there we go. All right, so if you were to buy this specific call, this is a strike price of $220. That is called inside of the money or at the money. That particular one is inside of the money. So yes, you could buy that. So you can buy a stock that is below the stock price. That is possible. Next question for you guys would probably be like, well, why would I buy that, right? Instead of buying something out of the money. Well, it's a safer play. So you're not going to make as much, but your theta is going to be lower. And I don't really buy in the money options, but it is a safer play. Enoch, would you educate me on delta and theta? Should they be equal or higher when I buy a call? So delta, I did a whole live stream. I can post on that. Delta is important because delta is going to show basically how much money you're going to make off of the dollar. But when you're buying something, honestly, when you're buying any kind of option, let me actually go here to customize. It's called an options chain. If you guys don't know what this is or what I'm looking at, or it looks like a different language, I have a whole video on the options chain on the YouTube. Let's go to theta, add item. Okay. All right, here we go. The main thing you're going to want to look for, Enoch, is not necessarily your delta. You're going to want to look for your theta, which is important. You're going to want to look for your implied volatility, which is very important. you're going to want to look for your open interest and your volume. Open interest and volume are the two most important aspects of an option that you could possibly have. This is because it's kind of like, what's the point of having an option if you can't get rid of it? You want to see high volume because you want to make sure that you can sell the option whenever you want. You don't want to get stuck with some option where there's no volume, you're the only person to have it, nobody wants to buy it, because just like in life, supply and demand is what's in charge of what a price is of something. It's the same exact thing in the stock market. If there's a ton of demand, if there's a ton of supply and no demand, it's not going to be worth a lot of money. So theta, for those of you who do not know, is a decay. So theta is basically a poison drip. Every single option that you hold is going to decay this is important, every second of every day. Theta happens on the weekends as well. So if you hold an option and you're losing $500 a day in theta, you're going to lose $500 on Friday, $500 on Saturday, $500 on Sunday. So what you're going to want to look for is volume. Thank you, Jap. Thank you very much. Welcome to the community too. So what you're going to want to look for is volume. Volume is dependent upon the stock. So if you're trading something like SPY, you'd like to find something over 500 to 1,000. If you're trading something like CCL, you want to find volume that's at least over 150. So you want to find high volume, which volume is just how much people have bought and sold that day. You want to find high open interest. Open interest is how many contracts people are holding right now. Then you want to take a look at implied volatility. I'm going to make a whole video on implied volatility, but basically if a stock is predicted to move, thank you very much, Enoch. If a stock is predicted to move in one direction, your implied volatility is going to be astronomically high. Think of it, and I explain this to my students. If you had the number 1 football team, and they were facing the number 32 football team, and you were betting, what do you think the odds are going to be on that bet? Pretty low, because the number 1 football team has a 99% chance of beating your already subscribed. Thank you, Enoch. Because the number 1 football team in the country has a 90% chance of beating the number 32. So the spreads are going to be wide. Basically, if your implied volatility is high, you don't want that. You don't want to take that trade because you're not going to make as much money. Like, let's take a look at Spotify. I would bet the implied volatility is high as hell right now. Okay, this is a perfect example. Actually, let's look at Nvidia. It's probably a better one. Okay, so let's look at the implied volatility on weeklies. Let's look at weeklies. Look at how high the implied volatility is. Anything over 100% is pretty crazy, right? These are even high. Now, the reason that these are high, all right, let me ask you this. Actually, I'll ask you guys. Why do you think the implied volatility is high? Remember, implied volatility gets higher when a move is expected to happen. Why do you think implied volatility is high on Nvidia right now? Coffee is so good. I'm getting a Capitalist Academy coffee mug too. Give it a couple more seconds. If not, I'll explain it. Earnings, exactly. So we have earnings coming up. Nvidia moves a lot on earnings. So your implied volatility is going to be high. We're expecting a huge move. Now, now imagine this. Imagine getting puts on SPY before the Rona. Your implied volatility is going to be low, which means that if the stock crashed suddenly out of nowhere without expecting it, you would make bonkers money. The biggest percentage I've ever made in my life on a play was 1,500% on Wells Fargo puts. The implied volatility was low. It was a weekly, which was stupid of me, but the implied volatility was low because it was just a normal day. There was no earnings coming up. There's nothing crazy happening. So remember, when you're looking at something like Spotify or mRNA might be different. Look at mRNA right now. Now, granted, these numbers have come down a bit, but these numbers were all in the 200 to 300% a couple days ago. Why? Because mRNA ripped 30% to 94%. So if you were going to buy puts, it's almost not worth taking it because people are expecting it to fade. So when more people are expecting a move to happen, implied volatility goes up, which makes the play not worth it because your delta is going to go down and your theta is going to go up. So the main things to look for, and here's the thing too, there's a lot of great plays out there that sometimes is just not worth taking. Like we had a play in the academy on CNQ, right? It's a little different now, but the option was not even worth taking because at the time, which is not now, the open interest and the percentage change were not even worth, the open interest and the volume were not even worth it. So like, let's take a look, right, on something like SPY. So I was going to talk about this in the stream as well. But we have right here, we've touched this support 1, almost 2, 3, 4 times we've rejected off of this. So let's say we were pricing in puts. Let's go to trade. Now remember, I am not going to go the 22nd. That's tomorrow. I'm going to go 2 weeks further. So I'm going to go... Now you got to realize too, the more volume a stock has, the more earnings, the more contract dates you're going to have. So for SPY, it's actually like every other day, as opposed to something with Facebook is going to be once a week. And then for some stocks, it might just be once a month. So let's look at like June 5th. The price of SPY right now is $294. So I want to go out of the money puts. Let's see what is popular. And now I'm also going to explain after this how to find unusual option activity, which is important. So let's take a look. Looks like some very popular ones are going to be 280. So this had 20,000 open interest, 1,424 volume today. That's a lot. If you wanted to be safer, you could go 290, 10,000 open interest, 2,947 volume. And now here is your theta right here. So your theta is going to be dependent upon how bad you're going to end up losing money on a trade like this. So for this, right now, your theta is $19 per day, per contract as well. But I explain all of that a lot more in the courses, and I have a lot of YouTube videos on it as well. Delta is pretty much what you will make after your first dollar, if I remember quick. Exactly. Is BJ's on an ascending wedge, or am I tripping? Let's take a look. Okay. I kind of explained TTMs a lot. Jesus. Is this today? Okay, so it kind of was, but not really anymore. So we kind of had this squeeze that was happening. I explain in my courses what a TTM squeeze is, which is important. Oh, and don't forget AMD. Okay, we can go over AMD too. Anak, do you normally put out your calls and puts or what you are trading and also trade the same? I know it sounds funny, but somehow today my portfolio jumped to 12K from 3K from a call on ACB. Yo, congratulations. Yeah, so I do have a monthly membership community. So it's $30 a month. You get access to not only all the courses, there's like 55 hours worth of courses and lectures, but you also get access to our Discord. We have 210 people in it. Most of the people in here are probably in it. It's $30 a month. I go live like this every single morning for them from like 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I go over what I'm trading. I have a position section where I put everything that I'm buying and selling. I go over why I'm buying and selling it. I build a watch list for a whole bunch of people. It's awesome. So if you want to be a part of that, I tried to post my link, but I didn't. If not, you Enoch, you can go to any of my YouTube videos on here, and you'll see the link in the descriptions, and I can put it in this one later. Let's see. So with BJ's, we had this squeeze. I talk about this in the community a lot. Okay, and Aaron posted his above. Dope. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron is one of our advanced traders as well in the community. So we had this big ascending wedge, which is usually bearish, but they had amazing earnings. So fundamentals always trump technicals. We have here, I explain it in the courses, but a TTM squeeze. Basically, it just shows when something is squeezing and a big move is going to happen. So we had a big squeeze and then obviously a release to the upside. So it was making an ascending wedge, which is normally bearish, but because of fundamentals, it ripped. Let me see. Enoch, I did a put on BJ's. What do you think? I did well today, still holding contracts. Okay, so a put on BJ's. Enoch, it's one of those things, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about it, when you're getting puts on something that's breaking out specifically, I think to new highs, potentially? Yeah, to new highs. Just be willing to keep it a small enough position to where if you lost it all, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Because when we get into these uncharted territories, we don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know how far up it's going to go or how far it's going to go down. Also, go a couple weeks further than you think you need with puts, because this could just hold here for a long time. I mean, I think it's going to take a fade, but it could push up like another 7%. So just be careful. But yeah, it's really, really overbought right now. I don't know exactly what numbers came out, and I assume it's probably good because a lot of people are stocking up on stuff because of Rona. But yeah, just be careful with it. Keep a stop loss. The biggest aspect of this game is not picking the best stocks. It's knowing when to cut your losses and walking away. That's what's going to keep you in the game. Moshag, I did well today, still holding contracts. You got calls on BJ's? That'd be dope. Aaron said, what group did you say you are in? So I run the academy. It's called Capitalist Academy. It's in, the link should be in any of my YouTube videos. And Aaron said he posted his link up above. But it's amazing. It's really, I started the academy and I started the Discord group specifically because it's full of a bunch, this entire really system of trading stocks and Facebook groups is full of a bunch of fakes and full of a bunch of people who just push out pump and dumps and a whole bunch of fake information. And so that's why I created it, because I'm tired of that. I've been around for 6 years. I've seen so many people come and go and stop trading and make a ton of money and then blow it all. Like, I don't want that to happen to people. So I'm doing this to really just try to fix what's wrong with the toxicity of people. Yeah, like Matt said, toxic people. So that's what I'm here to try to do, is to try to stop all that and build a community. That's the most important thing, guys. I don't care about making money. Like, I've had enough money in my life where I realize, like, it really doesn't make you happy. I want to build a community of people who not only grow and learn and are entrepreneurs and trading. There's more to trading than just trading, right? I always say who you are outside of the stock market is who you'll be as a trader. So I want to build a community of awesome people who are there for each other. We are all masters. We have a section in our Discord called self-promotions. So we have people who are master plumbers, master contractors, master real estate agents, real estate investors. I invest in real estate too. People who are masters of the stock market, like myself. People who might be masters in cars. I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's like, not only is it the fact that, yeah, we can trade and we can make money and we can have live streams every morning, but it's the community of, like, if you're ever like, dude, as dumb as it sounds, hey, my car is, I'm thinking about getting a new car. I don't know anything about cars. Dredge, White Boy Rush, they're the two people I know who know the most about cars. There's probably other people. I don't know what kind of car. What should I get? You know, like, it's about having, I call it the round table, but the table of people that like we all look out for each other and help each other out. That's the most important thing to me. Because I'm telling you, connections are more important than money. You could have $100 million and without the right connections, well, maybe not $100 million. You could have $100,000 and without the right tools and right education and right people, you wouldn't know what to do with it. And it's pointless. See, I posted mine above. Unity Blue, what's up, Unity Blue? Hey there, how's your overall performance on options year to date? Last month, last week, I just stumbled across your cast. Seems cool. Do you look much at BMY? It's been fading for a couple weeks despite solid analysis. So I post every single one of my trades when I open them, when I close them. Up until yesterday, I was up $12,000 in 3 weeks, which some weeks I have, like some months I have way more than that. Some months I have way less than that. On average, usually get about 5 to 7, but I took a big $3,000 loss yesterday, which I don't usually take losses that big. I'm usually better at cutting them and being smarter, but because even though I've been doing this for so long, you're human, and I was like, oh, screw it, I'm up 12 grand this month. I'll just keep buying into Twilio puts and keep going. So as of now, I'm up like 9 grand this month, and we'll close out Friday for the month that I've been tracking. What's the link to your group? Let me get it for you real quick. I think I posted it, but let me... Oh, damn, we got new subscribers. That's dope. Hold on, let me get up here real quick. All right, here we go. I'm posting the link right now. There you go, guys. Just posted it. It's cancel anytime, which obviously as soon as you guys, not to sound arrogant, as soon as you guys join, you're going to be like, holy crap, that's so cheap. If you join now before June 1st, it's only $30 a month for your life, your entire life. It will never go up for you guys. It's starting June 1st. I'm just going to go up to $50 a month, and then September is going to go up to $100, but only for new members. Anybody who signs up before June 1st is $30 for the rest of their life. But yeah, Unity Blue, I mean, sometimes I'll make way more, sometimes I'll make way less. You know, it's a part of it. It's a part of the game. Matthew. Also, can you guys like this video? Peter truly invests the same amount of time into us and his group. We try to help promote home whenever we can. Liking his videos helps a lot. Thank you, Matt. That's the best part. Honestly, that's the best part about what I do. It's just seeing other people attest to you and like what you're doing. That's the sickest part. Like I had a Facebook post last week on our Facebook group where someone was like, yeah, I'm thinking about joining, and like 5 of you guys were like, yo, you need to join. It's the best $30. Like that is the best part. That's the best part about any of this. Also, you'll absolutely make your money back in the academy, but in the stock market for 2 months, help me make a play to cover my membership for over a year. So he just in one of his plays paid for a year's worth of his membership. That's dope. BJ calls expire 619. It's all profit at this point. That's amazing, Moshe. That is the goal. The goal as a trader is to make a trade where you can just sell your premium and just let it ride. I mean, sell your principals and just let it ride. Appreciate your help, bro. That inspires me every day. Thank you so much, Valerio. Let's see. I saw Unity. Do you look much at BMY? It's been fading for the last couple weeks despite its analysis. I also do long-term trade, guys. Like I'm going to straight up tell you this. If you're trying to build mass amounts of wealth off of trading stocks, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's very, very, very hard. I talked about this when we first started the stream that I never keep more than 30 grand at a time in my trading accounts. There's no reason. There's no reason to get 50 grand worth of options or $100,000 worth of shares. There really isn't. There is a cap that you can kind of make to day trading because I'm not going to take a $50,000 options play like that. There really is a cap. So I made a video on my YouTube about how to build wealth in 2020. And the main thing that I do is I take my trading account, and every single time my trading account hits 30 grand, I take that money out and I put it in my long-term positions. Then every time my long-term positions hit 100 grand, I go buy a piece of property. The real ways to build wealth is long-term investing, which I do a lot of, and buying real estate. And basically your stock trading should be your vehicle to move you down the line of wealth, because that's how you build wealth. There should really never be a time that you guys are trading stocks with a $200,000 portfolio. So 619 BJ calls, that's good. BMY, so Bristol Myers. Are you looking at this long-term Unity Blue, or are you looking at this as a trade? Says DTO got me a few days ago when it imploded. Makes me wonder if DBK is going to blow up. Yeah, taking losses is part of the game. You can't not take loss. I post all of my losses on Facebook, all my losses on Instagram. It's usually not a lot, which is dope. But you got to be authentic. And you gotta realize, like, losing is part of the game. Can't be real. I mean, you can't win all the time. Bristol Myers. Options short term on Bristol Myers. It's kind of funny that Bristol Myers is following like the exact market almost. For me personally, I would sit out. Big support on the 200-day SMA. We broke below the 100. To me, the risk versus reward is not there to grab puts unless we were to break back up to like 62.06. I would say wait. See if we break up. If we can break up to 61.85, maybe start grabbing puts, because now that we're under the 100, unless we break back up, we're going to take a 5% fade down to the 200-day SMA. So that really all depends. But I would say puts would be good if we can get back up and you can get a better price. If not, the premiums are probably going to be overpriced. Or if you're looking for calls, if you believe in this company, short term, I would wait and see if we find support on the 200-day SMA. Options short term was thinking they have been out of favor, so premiums are small. Yeah, premiums actually aren't that bad. Yeah, I would have been good to get in it this morning at the 100-day SMA. Let's see. Do I swing for a weekend? Yeah, depends. It really depends on how long I go out, and it just depends on the stock. I don't mind swinging on the weekends. It's not a big deal. Some people are like, I'll never hold a stock over the weekends. I don't. I'll always hold if it makes sense, if it's worth it. Sebastian Zoltan. It's a dope name. CCL is a good stock for the long-term investment, sneaking up nicely. Sebastian, I completely 100% agree with you. I made some videos on CCL. I love CCL. My biggest downfall with CCL that I don't like is I don't think it's going to recover as fast as a lot of people think, if that makes sense. I had $13,000 worth of CCL at like $8.90, and I sold it at $11 right before it made that big push. I think that the airlines will have a better chance of coming back quicker, because you have to realize, right, they have no revenue. It's whatever. They have not been able to actually take any, I think, really any at all, cruises up until August. Now they're fully booked in August, but what you have to remember is, yes, they're fully booked. That looks good for the news, but they're $28 a day. There's no way you're making much money, if not any, on $28 a day. The ships take a lot of money to be ran. The crew has to get paid. I don't think that people are going to be so afraid to take a trip on a cruise. I really don't think so. But they did take out a monstrous loan for an 11% interest rate, which is pretty crazy. They cut the dividend, which I expect that to happen. A lot of people were upset, but like they have to cut the dividend. I think that, yeah, I definitely think they have the cash to survive till next year. And I think that we could get back up to $20 by the end of this year. For me, it's definitely one of those plays. Like, it's going to be 3 to 5 years before we get back up to $50, but it's at a really nice price. And if you have, even at that, 3 to 5 years, that's 100% return a year almost. That's nuts. So yeah, I like them long term. I just don't think it's going to be a V-shaped recovery like a lot of people were thinking. Great company though. Risk versus reward is there too. That was one of my biggest positions long term next to Uber. All right, cool. Anything else? I have 500 shares. Bought weeks ago at $14.30. That's dope. That's good though. But see, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about this, but like how I was talking about scaling into a position and scaling out of a position as far as options. I do that with trading. I scale into a position with trading. I mean, I scale into a position with long-term investing. So you got to realize, right? When CCL broke $40, I was looking to get in. We took a big fade. I started buying CCL at like 25. Small amount. Then I started buying at 18. I started buying at 14. And then I started buying heavy at $7. Like heavy. So it brought my average down. But I do like them long term. Big thing with them though is going to be how does reopening the economy look? How is, if we get a second wave of this whole Rona situation, it could be problematic. All right, cool. Let's wrap this up. Let me go over some things that I'm watching. If you guys got anything you want me to look at, just drop it. AAL. What was your opinion of Nvidia? Great earnings. Would I play it? No, not right now. Biggest thing that I look for is risk versus reward. So they killed earnings, but the reward is not worth the risk at this point, right? Like if you were to get calls on something like this, you have so much potential downside to this big support down at 300 that it's just not worth it. If you were to get puts, I mean, with how good earnings are, depending on how the call is going right now, this could just move up. To me, like I would not, as a long-term investor, I wouldn't touch it right now. I think it's a little overpriced. Great company though. I just wouldn't touch it at all as far as trading, even right now. Unless you're in it and you had puts, congratulations. But I think it's just a little overvalued right now. But it's always good to watch or paper trade. Talk a lot about paper trading. People hate it. I didn't like it when I started. I still don't like it because I think you need to learn to lose your own money. As terrible as that sounds. But paper trading is really important, especially if you're somebody who's going to be trading options. Pretty new to options. Just wondering if you can explain that once upper resistance is broken, it's typically clear sailing. I would figure out it would seem late to the party to most people. Okay, so you're talking about like if something were to break resistance, it's basically like off to the races to the upside. What's a good one? Let's look at not shop. Let's take a look at Spotify. Okay, so let's look at Spotify and let's pretend that this didn't happen. This whole Joe Rogan deal thing going on, and I talk a lot that ironically fundamentals line up with technicals. Technically, before the Joe Rogan deal, we were here at this resistance, and then it broke through. Sebastian, I 5K invested in Nvidia long term. You're going to kill it. They're an amazing company at a good price. Not the best price, but it's a good price right now. Like personally, I wouldn't buy because I try to find good companies at fair prices, but it's a really good company. Okay. So let's take this last question. Also, guys, I put out 5 videos a week. I do these public live streams a couple days a week, and we have our private live streams in the academy. So if you want to see more of these, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. Really helps the algorithm. We've only been doing this for like 4 months. We're up to like 1,600 subs almost. It's amazing. But the big thing you want to look for when something's going to break through resistance is volume. So I talk about, I shoot a bow. Let's see, I've got a shirt here. But when you're thinking about volume and you're thinking about price action, right? Think of it as like your price action is like your aim. Like your price action is going in the direction in which it's aiming. But with a bow, you can't shoot the arrow unless you have a ton of pullback, right? So the more pullback you have with the proper aim, if you were to shoot the bow, it's going to go to the target, right? If you don't have, even if you have a perfect target set and there's no pullback, it's not going to go there. So volume is going to show you and help you predict if something's going to break through a resistance or a support. If we come up to this resistance and all the volume gets sucked out from it, it's probably going to fall. If we get up to resistance and a ton of volume comes into the stock and the price action is going up, the indicators are going up, it's probably going to break right through that resistance and shoot its way up. So for me, I look at volume to see is this a real breakout or not. Something you'll see sometimes with false breakouts is if we break out, like this is a perfect scenario right here. Right here. So this was last earnings on Nvidia. We came up to this resistance, right? We broke above the resistance. So most people say, oh, it's going to break out. It's going to break out. But look at what happened. All the volume got pulled out. These are volume bars. All the volume got pulled out. So usually you'll notice a fake breakout or a fake breakdown will break it on a candlestick, but there'll be no volume. It's kind of weird because, like, why would a stock be breaking out if there's nobody trading it? That's usually how you can tell. You mentioned you don't think there will be V. Thinking we haven't seen the bottom on SPY? No, I don't. I have September puts right now. What are they? On the stock, on SPY. I'll tell you my exact position. SPY, September 17th. 240 puts. I don't think this is going to be the end. You have to remember, too, I have a lot of money in long-term positions, but I don't think it's going to be a V-shaped recovery on the whole market. I think that it depends. Really, if we open the economy, it could be a V-shaped recovery. I think that if you look at the coronavirus, it's not as bad as we had expected when we first shut everything down. It's time to start opening up things, but I think that if we continue to hold the economy hostage, and I'm not downplaying the whole Rona situation, but if we continue to hold the economy hostage, it's going to get really bad. Also, second wave of Corona. Oh, I can't say that word on YouTube. Whatever. They get pissed. Super hard to figure out with all the backstopping from the Fed. I agree with you too, and I think that the Fed is just continuing to do the kick the can down the road, and if we don't deal with this now, just by printing more money, like it's going to be a really, really bad fade. But, here's the thing. Don't trade against the market, right? Like, market's going up. I have puts right now, but I only have a small amount of puts relative to my portfolios. I have like $6,000 worth of puts. ACB was awesome today. Funny enough, I was going to buy ACB a while ago. But yeah, crazy. Now, for those of you who don't know, market cycles, I just did a whole video on market cycles a couple days ago. What was the name of that video? I put out so much content, I don't even remember. Let's see. What was that video called? Bubbles. Stock market bubbles, and why does a bubble happen? Very important video if you guys don't know. I don't think necessarily a bubble is happening right this second with something like Aurora, but what I will say is we see in a normal market cycle what is called a bull trap. So we have a big push, right? Then we have a fade, and this is called a bull trap. So everybody who bought in up here, who just lost a crap load of money, when it bounces, they think, oh, we're going to make higher highs. And then they all buy into the stock. It does a small bounce, and then it dies. I'm not saying that's happening here, but that usually happens. If we look at something like SPCE, I made a whole video on this a couple months ago. Same thing happened. Let's go to the daily. We had this monstrous rip for a couple weeks. Big fade, bull trap, and a big fade. If we look at Tesla, this was not that small of a bull trap, but we had big fade. Big move up, big sell-off, bit of a bounce, and then a big sell-off again. What's that other crappy penny stock? Guys, also, please don't ever trade penny stocks, please. ACB is a bit of a penny stock, but please don't trade them. I will promise you that you will not make consistent money for the rest of your life off of trading penny stocks. You can make good money today, but you're not going to make consistent money over years and years to come. Big rip, bull trap bounce, and we never got back up to where we were. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Today is Wednesday. I don't know, it's today. Jesus, what is today? Thursday. Thursday. So I have date night tonight. The old Rona date night. I don't know what I'm going to do. Also got to get a workout in. So I'm going to roll. Guys, thank you so much. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It means so much to me. It means so much that you guys are a part of this community. I really want to see this grow. I want to do meetups at some point. I want to get a Capitalist Academy headquarters. I would love to have you guys fly out and trade live and hold seminars. It could be so dope. So the future is ours. I'm so happy to be a part of your guys' lives. Thank you. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. If you want to join the Academy, I posted it up in the chat box. If not, it's in the link to all my videos. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you. Have a good night.